Hello, friends from Asbury Park, New Jersey. We're here for the Asbury Park Summer Games. It was almost a sanctional back in the day, but then the pandemic shut it down. And now it's, I would say, bigger than a local CrossFit competition, but not as big as a semifinal, of course. Not as big as something like Wadapalooza or even NorCal, but is big in the Northeast region. So that is what brings me here. The event is tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday for Father's Day. I think we end the day with a pig roast though. On Sunday, it's a condensed schedule. It's like 8 to noon and then a Father's Day roast of some sort. And tomorrow we don't kick off until either 5 or 6 p.m. and they'll have an event under the lights. It's right across from the beach. Hello, Craig. Hello, Omar. It's good to see you guys. I don't have my fit aid today because I traveled here, so all I could get on the airplane was a empty Yeti water bottle, which always comes with me. Sean, hope all is well. Good to see you. Courtney, I'm so glad that you could join us. It's been a minute. I know you've been missing these live and have had to catch up later. I'm also glad that I could get internet. Of course, I, have been putzing around since I got in this morning I got to the airport. Oh my goodness, already unplugging things. I got here at, 7:30 a.m. There we go. Okay, we good. We're back in business. Otherwise, we would have died. This laptop needed to be charged. And of course, I'm looking at the Airbnb rules and the Wi-Fi, and I couldn't find the correct one. So I'm glad we could make it here. But originally, I wasn't supposed to get into Jersey until this afternoon, but because of all of the issues that they've been having at Newark and short staffs and flights delayed and cancellations. Caleb, back to regular programming. It's good to see you here. You've been busy. You've been living my life on the road the past couple of weeks, so it's good to have you back. But they canceled my original flight. They did this like 3 weeks ago, though, so at least they gave me heads up, and they changed it to the earliest flight at 6 a.m. So I got in. I then went to the gym. Oh, shoot. What is it called? So Bryant runs this event, and it's the gym that he owns. It's a CrossFit gym. Great space, like 7,000 square feet. They got an ice bath. They got saunas. Got a nice little pump in. And then for 25 minutes, I ran in like zone 2, which running is never in zone 2. It always creeps in zone 3. So a low zone 3, 25-minute little putts. And yeah, it has been a good day. I'm at my Airbnb now, getting situated, here for a good weekend. Voluptuous hair vibes. I know, I'm actually surprised that my hair still looks like this after working out, after getting sweaty. Hotel couch vibes. Yeah, Airbnb couch vibes, Jenny. Same but different. Same but different. It's funny. I don't know if I prefer staying in hotels or Airbnbs. I think it definitely depends because the good thing about a hotel is you're always going to have some kind of access to a gym or fitness center. And sometimes you get a continental breakfast, even though I'm not really a big fan of powdered eggs. Ooh, but you still have an option. But with an Airbnb, sometimes you get more space. You can go grocery shopping and keep your food in the fridge. You can cook if you want. So depends. Extensions, hair vibes. Yeah, it's fake. It's fake. I mean, all this is real. Look how dark my roots are. Sometimes I look in the mirror and I do like a whoa, whoa. I don't even recognize myself. Sometimes tough, Couch and chill vibes. Should get another podcast soon before the games. Yeah, Courtney, send me your schedule and we can tee it up to maybe be like a week or two before the games once we have a full roster, just giving people a little bit more time, and maybe we'll have some more events announced as well. I like hotels, don't need to clean up after myself. Yeah, that's true, but also I was actually just asking the guy who's also at the Airbnb with me, Mike, he MCs a lot of these events, if we had a washer and dryer here, because if I can do a little bit of laundry before I get home, it makes things a little bit nicer. Oh yeah, you already read that. How excited are you for Hyrox Championship? Um, you know, kind of neutral. I don't know, especially because I'm working an event this weekend. I don't know that I will watch the live stream or anything. I'll obviously see highlights, and I'm really close with Lauren Smith, who is like their host on field reporter for them, and I follow a lot of it through the content that she puts out and the stuff that she shares from High Rocks. Um, I've seen like pieces of their live stream before, but I've never actually sat and watched an entire one. So maybe I actually that's a good point. Maybe I will go back and watch it just to see the way that they cover the sport. Jenny. Oh, that's funny. Not my type. Not my type. I love that she plays matchmaker. We love that. Jenny was trying to matchmake me with her ex-husband though. Like, if you didn't like him, if he wasn't good enough for you, why are you going to send him my way? Come on now. We can't do that. Nobody cares about High Rocks, Caleb. I wouldn't say nobody cares. I wouldn't say nobody cares. I'm Lauren Weeks is a rad athlete now. Oh wow, good for her. Yeah, Lauren Weeks is a freaking boss in that sport. I do know that much even. What even is your type? What is my type historically, or what should my type be? Historically, not good. The type of man that I used to go for looks like they probably have a criminal record, that type. We don't do that anymore. We've learned from that. But I don't know that I have a type. Truly, truly, I don't. We can. I need a follow up question. I don't know where to go with that. I know, I'm sorry, that would be awful for you. Yeah, thank you, but you tried to do that. Why? Is that you secretly telling me that you don't like me? You're like, I really don't like Lauren. I'm gonna send her my ex-husband. That would be kind of funny though. What does that even mean? What does what even mean? No military guys anymore. Yeah, you're right. We can't do that. We're done. We're done with that for many reasons. They enlist because that was the only option. Yeah, a little bit. She likes tall British guys. Oh, Patrick, you're awake at this hour. Good to see you here. Jenny's trying to husband swap, but the old one. Excited to see how Tia performs at High Rocks. Yeah, me too. I mean, I have no doubt that she'll freaking crush. She crushes anything she touches at this point, but yeah, High Rocks I think is it has this interest to me because it's growing so fast and because there is so much interest and they get so many people that sign up for them. And I was talking a lot to Lauren Smith about it because she's, in that space and covering it. And she had the same perspective as I did first about it, in the sense that, oh, that's kind of like boring. They just repeat the same thing every time. And then when she did one herself and started covering it, her perspective changed. And she was like, oh, like, I get why people are competitive with this. I get why people want to chase their times. I mean, I guess it's like, if you want to keep beating your Fran time or DT or, any of those workouts, but it's also, I wouldn't want to do that regularly. But again, I'm not going to knock something that I haven't tried or I haven't like even invested time to actually watch. So something that I could do. I only said that because, my kids like you, and selfishly I want them to like who he ends up with. Oh, that's a really good point though. And that's a really good parenting thing, is like you want your kids to have, a good role model or somebody who they like, or somebody that you would trust them with. So, okay. I get what you're saying there. Some of us want to be here. It's like a rat race. What do you mean by that? Share your apps and we'll swipe with you. We tried to do that once. Remember when we tried to mirror screen. Why can't I scroll? Okay, if you guys why is my life like this? I don't want to hide the chat overlay, but I want to be able to scroll as I go. Okay, whatever. If you guys talk too fast, apparently I can't like scroll to read anything. Any words you just say. Okay, but Caleb, when I speak, there's like that delay, that internet delay. So you need to, if you ask a question or say something, you got to be specific because by the time I've already said something, I black out. It's funny. When I got hired to work in television, both of my parents look at me and they're like, people trust you with a microphone to go on camera? And I was like, yeah, what are you talking about? What do you think I'm going to say? But because a lot of the times I say things and then 5 minutes later I've blacked out. I have no idea what I said. What did I say? You got to remind me. I don't know. Okay. Have a good one, Courtney. Sagan, good to see you here. What are you doing there? Did someone hire you to go there? Yes, the team hired me. This is my third year working at the Asbury Park Summer Games. This was actually the first event that hired me as like an independent. I don't even know what you'd really call my job because like doing the social media stuff, that's not broadcasting. I mean, I guess you could like say that by the definition, but content creator hired me as an independent content creator. I guess that's the best way to put it. But yeah, this is my third year coming here. Fun event outside. The weather looks questionable. I'm hoping that it doesn't rain. It keeps changing too, so hopefully it holds off because the whole event's outside. They obviously would have contingency plans if, it was pouring or thundering and lightning. They're not going to host an event outside. I know that they're right across the street from the convention center, and I'm pretty sure they've hosted stuff inside. But again, you have to reserve that, so I don't really know. That's above what I have the knowledge to. If I have to respond with the words you said to my prompt me to say what I say, I'm wasting my time. Okay, maybe I just got to read your mind then, Caleb. I don't know, man. I don't know what you want from me. I'm trying to follow. But okay, who remembers last week? Remember when I said that I wasn't sure about the farmer because he said that he wants me to come visit and he said he like wasn't on the apps anymore, but then I noticed that he changed his location. Well, I believe people should be held accountable for their actions and what they say, and I'm going to hold myself accountable. I was wrong, guys. I know, doesn't happen often. Actually it does. But yeah, I was wrong. He actually didn't change his location. I just read it wrong, and it was like, so on the Hinge app, there's two different things. You can put your hometown and then you have like your location up at the top. So I thought, so it did still say his normal like location and the thing that like would have changed if he manually went in, but it was the hometown that maybe I just didn't read it like the first time we connected. So to make a long story short, I was wrong. When I asked him about it, of course I got super awkward and I'm like, yeah, like how are your dates going down there? Like I said something passive aggressive, like not great, not happy about it. And he was like, what are you talking about? And I was like, well, you changed your location. And he immediately FaceTimed me and mirrored his screen with me to walk me through and ask like, what are you talking about? I don't know. So yeah, guys, so he thinks you're insane. See, this is why I never say anything because I don't want somebody to think that I'm crazy because I'm trying not to be crazy. Why won't this let me scroll? Unreal. What's unreal? I took onus of it. I'd be questioning this if I was him. Rookie mistake. You almost ruined it. I know, but I couldn't not bring it up at that point because like then I'm just going to stew or then like I'm going to make bad decisions. Girl, I STG. What does that mean? STG? I don't know. Ugh, and I hate how this chat won't let me scroll today. Oh, wait. I just need to pull the chat up on the side. Oh my God. I'm struggling today, apparently. Okay. Awkward AF. It actually wasn't as well. I mean, I felt a little awkward. He made me feel better. So he definitely got brownie points for that. Caleb says, I knew you were wrong. Yeah, I was wrong. I was wrong. So I'm happy that like I asked. Oh, swear to God. Thank you. STG. Okay, swear to God. I'm learning something new every day. Thank you. I'd be your bad decision back in my day. What does that mean? Why am I a bad decision? Any flings in New Jersey? No. No. So the moral of the story is, I was pretty convinced that I was right and that it was like, aha, I caught you. But instead I made myself sound like I was crazy. So, and he's still talking to me. So I guess that counts for something, right? He gets a lot of green flags for that. Caleb says, you are so lucky. Yeah. So, he cared enough to FaceTime. I know. FaceTime and mirror his phone screen with me. As soon as he did it, I started to get anxiety for him. I'm like, I don't want to see your screen. I don't want to see this. Like, I don't want to see something that I shouldn't. Like, please don't share a screen with me of your phone. Please don't do that. And he was like, no, like, I need to know what you're talking about because I didn't do that. I was like, okay, we're here. We're in it. So, yeah. He likes you if he immediately FaceTimes to clear it up. Yeah. I mean, I thought like nobody in the history of my life has ever like given me reassurance like that. And I don't think I'm somebody, well, I didn't think I was somebody who needed reassurance, but truly like that made me like him way more. I'm almost happy that I was a little bit crazy to call him out on this thing that I thought he was wrong about, because then he showed me like, no, you can fucking relax and I'm not lying and I'm not being sketchy. And yeah, what a time to be alive. So hi, it's me. Apparently, I'm the problem. So, bet you still want on that date, huh? No, I didn't. I didn't, Caleb, actually. So, because we cleared these things up, we cleared the air. This is why I had the conversation, because after you called me out on my bullshit, oh, I did it again. Truly, like this headline couldn't be more accurate right now. I am the problem. You called me out, and I did some reflection of, you know what, maybe let's be mature. And I was mature by, kind of bringing it up in a passive aggressive way, which that wasn't the most mature, but then, we moved on from it. So here we are doing great. This is all good. You confronted him. He knows you're interested and responded in real time. I like this guy. Yeah, I know. I feel that too. Some former. That means there's some former flings in New Jersey. No, there's not. What are you talking about? You opened the can, you deserve the anxiety. Okay, fair. Fair. I created my own anxiety. I 100% will own that. See what you shouldn't, as in what? What? You are giving off insecure vibes. How am I giving off insecure vibes? Maybe. I don't know. You tell me. Um he's seen the crazy as hell ride with it win. I mean, I think like maybe the way I brought it up was a little crazy, but I don't think like questioning somebody's actions was crazy. It's crazy the fact that I believed that I was 100% honest and I caught him. That part's crazy, but I don't think like asking somebody and confronting somebody about a concern you have is crazy. So, quick Caleb FaceTimer. This is the closest thing you're gonna get CrossFit. Oh my God. I don't think Caleb has my number. I don't think he does. Oh, good luck to my friend Amanda today. She had ACL and meniscus surgery. That was my tactical games teammate who went down. If I were lying to you, I'd have done exactly what he did. Closer you are to danger, farther you are from harm. Tyler, why you got to do that? Okay, here, this is a good debate. This is a good conversation. This is what I'm here for. Talking these things through real time. So Tyler, you think that he went out of his way by FaceTiming me immediately and share screening his phone to if I were lying to you, yeah, to manipulate me into believing him when he is not telling the truth. Am I reading that right? I don't. Let's keep it that way. Okay, Caleb. Just on here. That's our communication. He didn't give you any reason to distrust him. No, and I think that that's fair, but I also like I've been on dating apps for like 10 years now. I've seen a lot of shit. I've been duped a lot of times. And to his credit or defense, that's not his problem. Like just because other people have wronged me doesn't mean that like he should pay for um those like issues from other people. But I think like in general, the dating culture, that's how it is. Like people date multiple people at once. People lie and manipulate to get what they want. And yeah, that could sound like a little jaded, but it's kind of just the reality of nine times out of 10 when it comes to like the culture of online dating. So yeah, I don't think it's fair to like not trust him because of those things, but also like I mean the same thing with me. Like I'm sure he's had terrible dating experiences if he's been doing it online. Like men aren't the only problem. Like women on dating apps are terrible too. Everybody on dating apps is terrible just about. Andrew, say hi to Mike for me. I will. Uh Tyler gonna give her a complex. Do you ever swipe at the games? No, absolutely not. Dude is an actual gentleman. He gave you a farm grown basket of goodies. I know. I know. Trust me. I'm fully aware. I don't think I told you guys he also got me those sour patch watermelons. He brought those in the first date. I don't know. It like came up in conversation. And the first time I met him was the day before I was competing in a CrossFit competition with my friends. And I think I brought up like, I love to like bring those on comp days or whatever. And he showed up at the date with those. So yeah. People hide families. Oh my God. Yes, I'm aware. I'm aware. But honestly, all of his words and his actions have lined up, and I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. So we'll see. We'll see what happens from that. But yeah, I don't know. Calling you immediately little thirsty. I'd have at least made you sweat it for a few days, rookie. Tyler, you're married. Get out of here. Like, did you meet? I don't think you met your wife on a dating app. We've talked about this. That time that I think you picked me up from the airport. Maybe it was to the games or somewhere. I'm pretty sure we talked about how you and your wife met. You didn't meet her on no dating app. So it's different. Have you had those new frozen sour grapes? No, but I just saw my bestie Presley post about them, and she said that normal frozen grapes are better. That I think she said they were a little too tart. Was it tart or citrusy? She said they were a little too citrusy. So I'm going to trust her. However, I feel like our palates are different in what we like. So maybe I'll give it a go. But also, I'm just going to eat a normal grape. But are the sour grapes like the Sour Patch Kids, but grape flavored? Because I've had the grape flavored ones. I actually think I had those at the games last year. Somebody brought those for Tommy and I forget who, but yeah, I don't know. Anyways, what a time. What a time to be alive, guys. What else is new? What else is new with everybody? Last chance qualifier this weekend. Who we think that the last game spots are going to? Anybody have who's everybody's I want this person, but I don't know if they're going to. Who do you predict going and who's like a wild card? Have you ever taken Ozempic? No. That was so random. Where did that come from? I did see that the last chance qualifier workouts were released, but I haven't looked at them. Yeah, what is this? Oh God. Good afternoon, Olivia. Good to have you here. Workouts are released. Yes, I haven't looked at them yet. We're recording our Talking Elite Fitness podcast tonight, so I will look at them before we do that. But after this, Mike, who's here again at the Airbnb, one of the MCs, him and I will go get dinner somewhere close, and then Cam comes into town. Ooh, Kyra Milligan and Nate Ackerman. I like those picks, Jenny. Nate and Nina. Nate Ackerman and Nina. Last name, Craig? Yeah, Jenny, I definitely like those picks too. Oh, would love Matt DeLugas to find his way in. I like that. I think I asked you guys last week who's going to the games? Who else who's coming to Albany? Who's hanging out? I'm in the midst of the planning stages. I booked my hotel almost immediately when the games were released in Albany. Still waiting to hear on a media pass though. I can't remember how quickly they normally let you know, but I feel like I applied a while ago. I'm curious if anybody else has heard back or gotten confirmation. Caleb, do you cover CrossFit anymore? Yeah. This year was weird with like the semifinals like split all at different events. And even last year, I didn't did I go to all well, yeah, I did go to, I mean, there were four. I went to the French Throwdown, then I went to the West Coast Classic. Maybe I only went to three. And then I went to Syndicate. Were there wasn't there three in the US? In North America? What am I missing? I don't remember. Oh, Mayhem Athletes. Thank you, Craig. Yeah, so Caleb, do you cover CrossFit anymore? Yeah, and I was at the Fittest Experience. The season is just all over the place that with between like my tactical game schedule and like events that I've already committed to, it just was so disjointed this year that I either had another event the same weekend or it was my one weekend at home before another stint of trips. And I learned the hard way last year that like what the balance needs to be for me of being on the road versus being at home because I had 10 weeks in a row towards the end of the year and that was way too much. So like 2 back-to-back events, sometimes 3 is kind of the sweet spot. I don't love to do 3 back-to-back, but sometimes it happens. But yeah, I still want to cover CrossFit. I still would like to be involved with CrossFit events. And I still plan to be. It's more of just like a scheduling thing and what their media teams look like and like what access I'm going to get. Like for the games, I obviously know I'm not being hired by the broadcast team. They already have that set in stone, or I know people that they've reached out to. But so now I'm just waiting to see what access is because then that's going to determine what kind of content I can create. And you get that, you know that. My wife and son will be at the games. Awesome. You think your media app is gonna get denied? No, I think it would be really strange if it was, and if my media application was denied, I mean, I would have a lot of questions and I would hope that like people would be open to having a conversation to give some clarity as to why. So I don't know. I don't think that it's going to be denied. I'm just wondering, what their process is on timeline here. Syndicate and Mac. That's it. Thanks, CrossFit. Do you catch up on events when you're busy doing other sports? Yeah, for the most part, it's normally just like a delayed catch up. Like I said, for example, I mean, obviously it's not a CrossFit event, but like High Rocks this weekend, I'm at an event this weekend, but I would like to catch up probably Tuesday or Wednesday next week. But if I'm home, normally I'll watch all of it or some of it in and out. A lot of times I'm playing catch up and I'm not watching things in real time though. But I'm really good at like like anytime people post spoilers and stuff, to me that doesn't disincentivize me watching it. Like the same thing growing up when people would post like spoilers for TV shows or season finales. I'm still going to watch it. I don't care if I see like the end result. That doesn't take the excitement away, at least for me. But I know not everybody is like that, and I'm probably not the majority. It says balance and homegirl is gone all the time. No, I feel like I have way more balance this year. I'm probably traveling the same amount as last year, or maybe even a little bit more, but I've balanced it out more throughout the year. Where last year there were a couple of months where like I didn't travel at all, but that's why then my schedule got too busy at the end of the year and it was um not sustainable. It feels like you don't actually following what's happening in the sport. I mean, I would say that this year I've probably followed it less than past years for sure. Um, but that's not hmm. That's a good question and a good point. Yeah, let me get back to that. It's not because of a lack of interest. It's definitely not a lack of interest. Um, maybe it's a lack of prioritizing things and the balance of covering other sports and being present when I'm at certain competitions, covering those versus like being present when I'm at home and spending family time and social things. But yeah, I also think that my role has just changed a bit, like first I was working at Morning Chalk Up where that was it felt similar in a lot of ways to when I worked for local television, that when the news breaks, it doesn't matter if it's 5 p.m. on a Friday, it doesn't matter if it's a weekend, it doesn't matter if you're at a kid's birthday party or whatever, like you work with the breaking news. And after doing that for 10 years in TV, it just like I knew that that wasn't really how I wanted to cover sports, or that's not how I want to cover content. And like we obviously love and appreciate the people who do that because that's what keeps us in the know. But for me, I don't much have a desire to be the person to necessarily like break the news. Um I have I would say I enjoy breaking news like through an interview, and not the sense in like something like super shattering, but just learning something different that maybe nobody knew about somebody that you're interviewing. Like that's super interesting to me. And the storytelling that way, and storytelling at live events, live coverage when you're there in the moment. Um so yeah, then when I left Morning Chalk Up and worked for Talking Elite Fitness, it was definitely less like, hey, if this happens, we're jumping on this immediately. And when I ran the show The Bottom Line for Morning Chalk Up, there was a time where I was posting a video every single day with The Bottom Line. And then we're like, okay, 5 days a week, maybe that's not as sustainable. Let's try to do 3 days a week. And then they kept pulling back until eventually I think it was only like one a week before I finally left and started working with Talking Elite Fitness. And now I'm trying to, and so while I still do the podcast every week with Sean and Tommy for Talking Elite Fitness, and we have our Q&A with our patrons on Wednesdays, and every now and then we have like athlete interviews that show up, I'm trying to figure out, I'm starting to develop into a new role in the sense of, I'm putting stuff on my YouTube channel to make my own content. What is content that I'm interested in creating, but also what is content that people are interested in consuming? And then the other bucket is what is unique content that other people aren't doing that gives people another style of things to consume. So when you're saying, sorry, going back to Sagan, who said, I feel like you don't actually follow what's happening in the sport. I would say with a fine tooth comb. I think that's the phrase. We'll get there. Yes, I don't follow it the way that I used to in that sense, where I mean every single podcast and piece of material that I was reading was CrossFit. And I realized truthfully that just like wasn't sustainable for where I wanted to see my life in the sense of having balance, going back to the balance thing. So Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out like what is that balance of staying in the know with the important things that help my job and help me cover the sport in whatever capacity that is. And what is something that gives me a break and allows me to feel refreshed. That was kind of a long-winded answer, but you didn't sign up for the open. Yeah, why are we going back to this? I've talked about this. Why I didn't sign up for the open, and I don't think we really need to go back to that. Again, just because I didn't sign up this year doesn't mean that I'm never signing up again. Like, I don't really believe in like just because you feel or do one thing, that doesn't mean that that's like the only thing that's final is death. Nothing else is final. Got my cred. Wait, you got oh, don't joke with me there. Hello, Bruce. Maybe media approvals are based on whether you did the open. Well, that would be quite a shame because that seems like a very small-minded method in the sense that, okay, you're only going to give people a credential if they essentially paid you. You know what I mean? That 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 takes away the whole definition of outside media, right? That wouldn't make sense. But if that's truthfully what's going to happen, would love to have a conversation and would be open to it. What happened to Alex Gazan? Her car accident? Absolutely traumatizing, especially if you go to her Instagram and her video of like what actually happened or like right after it happened. So sad. Her and Jake. Do you think Alex will be ready for the games, or do you think she will not compete in the games this year? Actually, we talked, what day is today? Thursday. We talked about this in our Q&A yesterday because I asked Tommy that. I was like, what do you think, or do you think that they are going to backfill from NorCal, right? Yep, from NorCal for Alex Gazan's position to the games. And what do you think will happen with World Fitness Project Tour 2? And he thinks, I mean, what was he saying? That he thought recovery would maybe be 6 to 8 weeks, but that's like right into the CrossFit Games. So again, I don't want to speculate because like I haven't personally talked to her besides like the couple of messages that I sent to her to wish her and Jake, to feel better soon, get well soon. I don't know. I don't know what her healing process is going to look like and if she's going to compete at the games or what that means for her for the rest of the year and if she's thinking about Rogue, but I know that then maybe negates her from Rogue. So I think that there's definitely a lot of questions there. Sounds like the Be Friendly girls are going to break some new news with their interviews now. Yeah, that's great. I saw I forget what it's called, but yeah, it looks like they've got a great YouTube channel that they're going to start doing more interviews with it seems like athletes, coaches, managers, things like that. You think they'll bring up the Jenny base show sausages, hamburgers? Are we talking about a cookout? What's happening? Sevan wouldn't be able to do media then. Oh, wait, I think Sevan did sign up for the open, didn't he? Because didn't him and John Woolley have a like face off during the open where they donated money to a charity in Los Angeles? Or maybe it was the wildfires? Good job. They made a video of her living the trauma in real time. I missed TEF yesterday. I'll go back and watch later today. Why not speculate? That's the job of media. I don't think I would push back on that, Caleb. And I think it's how you define yourself as media. The way, and again, this isn't me saying that my way is right or somebody else's way is right. I think it's just what your journalistic style and preferences are, and also what your experience has been like, the way that you were trained, or the experience that you had. For me, the way that I like the past, 13 years that I've been in media, I was trained that my job is never to speculate. My job is to give the facts, present the facts and allow the viewer to decide how they feel, what their decision is. When you move into podcasts, obviously that's a little bit different because there are opinions in podcasts. There sometimes is speculation in podcasts. And truthfully, like for me, that has been something that is like really uncomfortable for me doing podcasts. Like podcasts aren't something that I'm naturally comfortable with because I think when you're taught something for almost 10 years, when you work in an industry and now it's this more lax setting where you're still journalists, but with podcasts, there's kind of this expectation that people get your point of view and get your opinions. It's always been hard for me to like come out of my shell more. And honestly, like that was the intent of this channel and this show more, because it forces myself to, answer questions in real time and have thoughtful conversations and sometimes give an opinion or speculate. But with something like that, I mean, I'm not gonna speculate because I don't know what her healing journey is like. I don't know where her head or mindset is at. And I wouldn't want to speculate on something like that unless I had a conversation about it with her. So yeah, that's kind of where I am with that. Jenny, leave the speculating up to me because that is what the people want. And I am happy to give it to them. Yeah. And again, not saying that like I'm right or Jenny is right. Everybody in media and content creation has a different style and they have something that they lean into, whether it's like their niche or what people expect to come them to. Like I don't expect people to consume my content because they want me to give like speculation or opinion. I know that people aren't coming to me for that because I don't give that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And again, it's just a stylistic thing. And I think like media is also changing, that the way that maybe I learned in journalism school isn't like all those things. I would say most of them still hold true when it comes to, ethics, integrity, fact checking, whatever. But I do think that now we live in this era of podcasting and YouTube shows and just like a different style of content creation. Like who still has cable? Does anybody here in this chat have cable? Does anybody in this chat watch their local news? Actually, that's a great question. I'm very curious on that. $500 for what? What are we talking about? 7 to the open. Okay, Caleb. Yeah, that's what I thought. Hair looks spectacular today. Thank you. I had to shoot content today, so I did my hair. I'm truly like surprised that it still looks like this after the gym and it's hot outside. That's the difference between local news and independent media though. Being like having speculation and not, I don't think so. I think it's just a different style of stuff or a different style of content. I don't necessarily think that that's what makes independent different. Yeah, I don't know. Isn't that media style outdated? No. I know plenty of people that still consume that, and I know plenty of people that appreciate being able to think for themselves because they're not forced an opinion or a certain bias from the person presenting it. Again, I think that both have a place, and I think it just depends on the consumer. And I also think that we kind of live in a world now where the most I don't even want to say passionate because I don't mean it as passionate, but the most intense views on something, those are the people that are always commenting or on Reddit threads or whatever. It's people that have a lot of emotion that they want to get out there. So I don't think that always going to comments, while comment sections can be helpful in a sense to get an idea of how people feel, I don't think that it's the big picture. And I think that sometimes people put all of their eggs in the basket of, oh my God, look at the traction this post is getting in the comments and everybody is so angry. Look at the comment section. It's so angry. Well, that might be the tone. And maybe you can think, yeah, like people are upset about this. I don't think that shows the whole picture. Media. How about Udia? Oh, what do you mean by that? TMZ of CrossFit. It was only a matter of time before someone did it. When LeBron isn't performing, Shaq and Charles Barkley are speculating as to why. That's the point of media. Again, I think that's fine and there's a time of place in it, but you're not going to see all journalists do that. Like there's certain shows that have a format that allow that. And I think that there is more speculation, obviously, in sports than news. Like, yeah, you're going to speculate who are your starters for a night, or you're going to speculate, um, who's going to make the Olympic team and things like that, versus you're not going to speculate. I mean, some people would, but whether somebody murdered somebody or not when it comes to, news. And that's not a apples to apples comparison, but you get what I'm saying. I just don't think that all media does that. And I don't think all media should. I think that there is a time and place, and that's just my opinion. I heard 40% of people get their news from YouTube now. Yeah, I believe that. I definitely believe that. I think, yeah, the same way that I remember my first 2 years in TV, I had some friends that worked at was it the Press Gazette? I think that was the newspaper in Illinois. And they were all fearful for their jobs because they're like, print is dying, newspaper is dying, blah, blah, blah. And then I remember towards the back end of my TV career, I was sitting in an edit bay with a couple of reporters and our editors, and we're like, yeah, local TV is dying, local TV is dying. And while I don't think that it's actually dying forever, I think that it's just evolving into where that content is placed. And like Jenny said, 40% of people get their news from YouTube. So it's interesting. It's all the evolution. Every media outlet speculates OG killed his wife. Yeah, that might be right. But I just don't want to speculate. I don't think I need to. Is that what people want from me? I'm curious, maybe. Media is so bad, just look at CNN versus Fox. Yeah. I tell everybody, if you want to consume mainstream media, don't just watch CNN, don't just watch Fox. You got to consume a little bit of all of them, a little bit of NBC, CNN, CBS, Fox, all of them have a bias. And it's so funny because for years when I worked in local media, I would defend, this is something that I would die on a hill of. I would defend that there is no bias at local TV stations. Truthfully, we are given a story. We are sent out to do that. And the reason why it will or will not look biased is totally dependent on who answers their call for an interview that day. And a lot of times, to try to make it look as balanced as possible, if I call, somebody about a story and they don't answer or they say they can't meet, I include that piece in, the story. Reached out to so-and-so, they were all unavailable for a comment or they would not comment. And yeah, I truly believe that there was no horse in the race. And at a lot of my TV stations, there wasn't. But then by my last station, just the way that scripts were written by producers and the political backing that our news director had and the tone and the stories he would put us on. And I'll never forget, it was during the election. It was election day. I forget what year this was, but I was told specifically that I needed to go into the rural counties because I was more relatable to that political party. And our Black reporter had to stay in the city because she was more relatable to the viewers. And her and I, just creating mischief, look at each other and we're like, hey, you go get in my photog's car and I'll get in yours and we're going to switch. So it just, interesting stories to go back on. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of just my 2 cents and where I'm at. I would say I'm giving more opinions than I used to. But again, I mean, I think you guys know at this point, I'm not somebody who has um like very, very strong, I'm going to die on this hill opinions about a lot of things. Like I really try to look at both sides. And I think a lot is situational or the information you have or, your upbringing and the environment you live in. Um, Hillard, that's racist. What my news director did? I mean, yeah, he had an angle and a reason for it. And we both couldn't stand him. So we're like, well, joke's on you, buddy. We're getting in the different vehicles for this and we're going to do the opposite of what you asked. I actually don't think that he ever knew that we did that. I mean, he must have based on the stories that we did that day, but who knows? Who knows? Did you watch the film? Oh God, if it's a film, I definitely have not watched it. Volcano with Tommy Lee Jones. When the man jumps off the train into the lava. No, I'm very uneducated on movies. I've watched basically none. The Guy Who Slowly Melts. Yeah. I mean, I've watched all the Harry Potter movies. I've watched all the um Pitch Perfect movies. Oh, those got worse. They should have just ended with one. Bridesmaids, a good rom-com, all the Jurassic Park movies, Jurassic World. I've seen those. I'm off, but I'll see you. Are the problem? It's definitely you. Thanks, Patrick. I appreciate that. I said I was the problem and I owned it. I feel like I did. Sagan, where did that come from? Why are we talking about the vaccine? What does that have to do with anything that we're talking about? Because we're talking about like opinions and like where people lean and stuff. Scream? No, I actually don't think I've seen Scream. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, all of the Saw movies, I've seen those. Trying to think of other like series that I've seen. Really aren't that many. Hi, Tall Patrick. Everybody loves Tall Patrick. Okay, get your final questions in. He had a heart. Oh, he had a heart attack. Okay, yes, I did see that. He had a minor heart attack, I think was the verbiage. But so are people speculating that yes, I'm aware of what happened, but are people I'm asking the relevance in the sense of the vaccine. Are people speculating that that's why? The best ladies are the problem. Smart man. Um, but yeah, that would be my only question. You could take down a giraffe? Could you take down a giraffe? No, those things are huge. Have you ever been up close with one? They big. Their face is big too. Yeah, and mini heart attack. I'm just talking about what I read. Like a heart attack's obviously a big deal. Young man, yes, because he's a young man and young men don't have heart attacks, many are not. Right. And I don't want it to come across like I'm being insensitive to the fact that I'm saying many, like a heart attack is a heart attack. Um, but yeah, I hadn't seen that that's what people were speculating the cause or potential cause was from. But yeah. Anyways, this was fun as always. Always great to catch up with you guys from New Jersey. What is next week? By next week, I should be. Yes, I have my friend's birthday hike. I will be back home and then we will do this again, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. CrossFit. I've got a big face. Could you take me down? Oh my God, I'm dead. You guys are funny. Uh Okay, yeah, now we're just getting in the weeds. Okay, guys, it's been fun. It's time for me to go get a bite to eat. Like, subscribe to the channel. Also, final notice on pre-orders for Authenticity Looks Good on You merch line. We got 3 different shirts. We got a hat. Go to my website, laurenkhalil.com. You'll find the merch section and you'll be able to get yours there. Until next time, cheers, guys. Have a good night.